Alright guys, now we're going to start with the ugly duckling that you guys have seen in the background of the other videos. This is my 1980 Cobra Mustang. This car came original with a 2.3 turbo with a blow-through. This was actually back before the actual SVOs. It's a very lightweight car. I like the pre-84s because after 84 they did the actual the convertible style, and they ended up kind of beefing up the unibody, so they made the cars a little bit heavier. So this car, when I had it weighed with all of the V8 stuff, I parted it out, kept the shell, and decided to go with a drag car with a 4G63. My Evo has come to a it's done. I can't go any further. Either I put a cage in the car, or I just leave it a street car and I just don't take it any further. And I decided to just leave it the way that it was and not take it any further. So this is going to be my drag car. This one is going to have a reliable drivetrain and a nice torque converter, and we're going to go, full send as hard as we can, for what this is. I mean, it's not going to do anything spectacular this year. We're trying to just get the car moving under its own power, but hopefully I bought all the right parts. So in the background of some of the videos, you've seen this transmission. This is my Rossler TH400. Spent a pretty penny on this transmission. Got a hold of Rossler and talked to the owner and actually made, talked to him and figured out what we had to do with the transmission. It's got all the thrust bearings, everything. It's all, I mean, this thing takes less power to turn than a 2-speed power glide. So this transmission's hopefully going to be a nice transmission. We'll see in the background also, you guys have seen all these parts kind of under plastic because I do all my cutting and stuff on my vise and whatnot, as you can tell. But there's the manifold that's ceramic coated. Got the exhaust pipe. There's the turbo, and there is another turbo back there, so we're going to try a couple different ones. Here's all those pieces. Here's the intake manifold. You guys will see that later. There's a valve cover, had it powder coated. This is a G4CP. Hopefully it'll show up in the video. There we go. So as you can see, it's a G4CP, and this is a 91 Hyundai Sonata block, I believe. But these motors are literally a 4G63 without the oil squirters. Nothing else is different, and they're good blocks. I mean, so far it's everything that you'd see in a 4G63, just it says G4CP. Yeah, is what it is. Well, that's what we're starting with. I do actually have a 4G63, and that is that block right there, and that's going to be my other big build that I'm going to be doing later, but I want to get the car running under its own power. So before I go to the car, I was going to show you these are the parts that I have. That's the stock crank for it. That's a flex plate because we're going automatic. That's the adapter plate, and those are the rods and pistons. And yay, the adapter plate is a Bill Hitcher plate. Here's the adapter plate. It's a nice plate, nice piece of casting right there. It's cast and whatnot. So that thing works really well. The oil pan, I'll show that one to you a little bit later. It's, I think, the second one he's ever made for this setup, which is kind of cool. So onto the car. So this was a 4i. This is going to be my actual turbo inlet. The turbo is going to be mounted there. I just wanted to kind of give you a show before we actually put everything together. Trans cooler. Just did a small Mitsumoto radiator. I think this is just a Honda radiator. Whatever. I don't need anything huge. I'm only cooling the head mainly. I built this. Used a STM weld-on cap for it. This is my coolant reservoir, and then that right there is actually my fuel tank. I self-built that. I'll lift the car up and I'll show that to you too. I kind of did a tubular front radiator support, and then this is my intercooler holder. I do actually have a water to air. It has a UPR tubular front K member, Flaming River manual rack, Flaming River drive for the manual rack. That is my fuel line, believe it or not. We're doing a mechanical pump. So, got the fuel pressure regulator, air motive. That is actually for the mechanical pump, or the belt-driven pump. At least that's what they say. Kind of small. I was kind of surprised. But it's ugly. It's an ugly car, dude. I did some Willwoods. Did Willwood fronts, and I'll show you the suspension here, but let's look at the inside before I actually put it up in the air. So this is my ice tank. Built this myself. Little Bosch water pump for the actual ice tank. I'm probably going to end up having to put a little screen down inside here like this, because I'm realizing that this thing might get blocked up with an ice cube. There's the dump. Dump goes down onto the ground so I can dump the excess water. These are my relays. Did a bunch of relays. Here's my actual fuse block for my switch panel. So as you can tell, I've got headlights, auxiliary lights. Those are going to be the actual tail lights and the front marker lights. That's the water cooler, water pump, bottle heater, and line lock. These are nice shifters right here. As you can tell, let's see if I can, there you go. Very nice shifter. Love this thing. It does have the CO2 automatic shifting. I just got to get the CO2 stuff for it. Did a strange detachable steering wheel. Nice piece there. Just a regular Jag seat, nothing spectacular. As you can tell, I did do a mini tub on there, and I did do battle boxes to kind of help. This car is going to be launching pretty hard, so hopefully I don't tear up the actual unibody and where the upper and lower control arms actually meet. Put all that stuff in myself. There's my battery box. It's not permanently located yet, but the doors, they are a fiberglass. They are an okay piece, even though when I got them from Harwood, they did not fit for shit. As you can tell, this was the gap that I had. I filled all that gap in with fiberglass to make, this gap. So, I filled all that in, and yeah, now it actually fits better. Nothing against Harwood, but their shit didn't fit for crap. So, the back hatch though from Harwood, not a problem. They give you so much extra along here that I just cut it off, and this thing fit great. It's just, did a couple Zeus fasteners here, and as you can tell, I did some reinforcement. This thing was flimsy as all get out because I have the hinges, as you can see right there. I went ahead and reinforced it so it wouldn't be as flexible, as you can see, kind of wobbles a little bit, but yeah, so that's the mini tub. Did all this myself. I got to go through and kind of paint those and fix them up and all that so it doesn't rust. It's already kind of starting to rust there, but race car issues. The rear bumper was actually off of my old car. I did total a car out at Firebird Raceway, our local track. This was the remnants of me hitting the wall. It pushed in the side really bad. I mean, it pushed in it like maybe that far. So this is my second car. Bought this car from a buddy of mine. He pretty much watched me wreck the car, and he turned around and said, hey, do you want to buy my shell? It was already caged and everything by a good buddy of mine, Glenn and Buster, and they were kind of mad about it, but I bought the shell from him, and fortunately that buddy of mine's dead now. He died of cancer. So this car is kind of a tribute to him too. So I want to make this thing fast and maybe piss off some of the Foxbody guys here at the track. But So little body work. I think this car has had a tree fall on it because this has Bondo all the way through here, and then through here, as you can tell, You can't really, you can kind of see it when I do this, but this area kind of sets in a little bit. This thing had a sunroof, and I think it was because when a tree fell on it, they just decided to, you know, put the sunroof in to make it, you know, fill in that gap. But off my car that I wrecked out there, I took a piece of roof off of it, and I put it in here and welded it on, kind of stitch welded it a little bit. But as you can tell, I mean, look at how much Bondo's on there. So we're gonna have to figure that out. And yeah, here's the gap that I had to fill in on this door too. A little rough, so I'm gonna have to, you know, figure that out before I paint the car. The car is gonna be painted white. But this door was screwed. The door actually, when I got it, stuck out like this far up here. So what I did is I cut the door apart. You kind of see it a little bit, but I cut this whole door apart and I freaking flexed it and then twisted it and then set the whole new door frame inside. As you can tell, I do have the handle, so the doors are functional, you know, so I wanted to do that, cut that off one of my old doors and stuff. So did all that to make them functional. Did some rubber to kind of hold the doors in so they didn't rattle. But you know, this is nice. Love the steering wheel. Got these pieces, so hopefully that'll work out real well. Just leaving the old seat in it for now. I'll get a really nice seat here eventually. But right now I just need to get the car on the track. Door does shut pretty nice. The fenders, I painted the whole nose clip. I was going to kind of buzz bomb the whole thing, kind of this primer white, but I kind of lost interest. I was like, screw it, you know. So it is a fairing car, so it does have the old style fairing. And bought some new marker lenses, as you can see. Put lights in there. Did some LEDs in the front for the tracks that actually don't have return road lights. Seen that on a couple tracks, and it's a little bit scary. So I figure I want to make sure that I can switch on some lights and see where I'm going. These are actually the slicks for my Evo. So they fit really well. Car rolls around, we're good to go. So here is the fuel cell. As you can tell, I built a frame to go around it, but I actually bolted it to the actual front frame rails because this thing will never come out again unless you unbolt it. So NHRA, they require you to have a cage around it, so I kind of built a little cage around it. This is my return line, 12 AN. I actually built, here's the radiator support and then the support for the actual front fairing to kind of rigid it up a little bit, make it more rigid, that is. Made these more solid because it had the shock mounts and stuff, and yeah, this car had rear-ended somebody in the past, so I just wanted to, you know, kind of square up the front end a little bit better. So I got a nice Miser water pump. This is actually for the cooling system, as you can tell. Built these little brackets to kind of hold the fuel line, because this is my actual fuel delivery right here, this 16 AN. Let's see, so I did QA1 double adjustable front struts. I get them from Motivicity, so a big shout out for Motivicity. They sell me, you know, the parts at a good price. But I got the QA1 fronts. Here's the Wheelwood brake kit. You know, they are kind of small, but you know, it's actually better than the crap that I had on there before. This car is framed out. I don't know if you can see this very well. Here, I'll get it this side, but this is an actual frame rail that they put in. My buddy Glenn and Buster, when they built this car, they framed the car out, channeled out the floor, and connected the front and rear unibodies with a frame rail, and it worked out great. There's the little dump for the ice box. So here's the rear end. This is a SN95 rear end. It's an 8.8. Don't need a whole lot because this that little 4-cylinder over there does not put out a whole lot of torque. I did the Cobra rear discs. So these are just basically stock discs, rear, you know, calipers and stuff like that. I do have 35 spline Mosier axles. So you can see the little Mosier emblem. They are 35 spline axles and 456 rear end gears, spooled But I mean, like I said, since this thing doesn't make that much torque, I'm not going to break the rear end, doing, trans brake launches. I doubt it. So, did the QA1 dual adjustable rear springs for it. As you can tell, the mini tub, I cut the living piss out of it. Wolf Engineering or Wolf Performance, they sell the kit. It's a nice kit, real self-explanatory. Has the little boxes. Here's you can't really see it very well, I don't got a light, but the battle box in there. And then, I don't know if you can see it very well, but there is the reinforcement plates for the upper control arms that actually hold these in really well. Kind of had to flip this bar right here. This bar is actually kind of supposed to go on this side according to the kit instructions, but since I had the sway bar, I did not want to get rid of this and redesign the whole rear end, so I left this thing in since it was already permanent, because you got to weld it up here. So I just got some little pieces, welded them onto the rear end, welded these. These come with the kit for the actual mini tub, so welded them on. It's a nice little kit, but this thing does actually kind of splay out the rear bolts really far, right? So I actually had to build an adapter to kind of, instead of trying to pinch these in really far, to just, I mean, they kind of set like this out, and I just didn't want to pinch them in, so I just put an adapter in there, put another adapter in right there. That's just how it worked out. As you can tell, these do have the spring perches. I didn't know which way I was going to go right off the bat, so I did buy these lower control arms with the offset spring perches, and you can tell that this is offset too. They move this in as far as they possibly can to give you as much room for as much tire as you can get. So that's nice. These are the actual old adjustable upper control arms. They are Heim jointed here, and they work great. No sense in replacing them. They were on the first setup. Cut out the whole the spare tire well on the back, so I'm gonna end up replating that in. Plate that's where the gas tank is, and I just kind of blended in that because I don't need it, so I mean, may as well blend it, make the car look a little sleek. But so far this is pretty much the old Mustang. It is hopefully going to be fairly simple and nothing nothing too flashy. I just want the car to be simple, nothing that I guess it's going to be uglier than shit. And paint don't make it go fast. So my main concern is to get out there, get the car going down the track, and make the car go straight. I'm more concerned with the car going straight before I go fast. But when I start going fast, I do want to go out and have some fun, maybe hurt some feelings, or get some rile out of some of the boys. This is going to be this is the hater Stang. Anybody that follows me on Instagram, it's Nathan Mignault, all one word, so Nathan Mignault, Migneault, and that's my Instagram page. And I've been kind of doing updates and stuff and posting pictures of the actual car build on that. But you guys will get to actually watch me put the car together, all the parts and pieces that I have for it. And I've got some custom parts being built right now because nobody builds this swap. There's no parts other than the adapter plate and the oil pan that I've been able to find that actually builds anything. I actually hand built my own turbo manifold. Hopefully you guys will get to see, you guys will be interested in checking this thing out. I mean, there's only a few 4G swapped Foxbodies in the US, and hopefully this will be one of the faster ones. Stay tuned and subscribe. It really helps us out. We enjoy that you guys enjoy the content. Thanks for watching.
Well, and that wraps up this episode here at Snellfed Performance. We appreciate you stopping by and checking out the channel. Hopefully you give us a like and subscribe for future updates on Mark's Evo, as well as other projects we have down the line. Have a great day, and thanks for coming by.